6 feet underground, the Sphinx's face. And removing the mythical creature was no small task.
The latest discovery is unlike anything we've ever found before. Archaeologists discover a huge statue in the desert of California. The miraculous Sphinx artifact is said to weigh about 300 pounds. Imagine how big this would be. This incredible object has posed a lot of questions to be answered by the dig. What is the story behind the existence of this object? How was it constructed? What materials were used? The discovery we're going to discuss with you today is the focus of heated debate, getting excited about mysterious writing, lost towns, and enigmatic structures. Watch this video to the end to get the full detail on how this mysterious object came about. Let's get started. After nearly a century, the shifting red dunes of California's central coast are giving up their final secrets. A team of 6 archaeologists using shovels, horsehair brushes, and gallons of quick-hardening foam to unearth and remove a nearly complete Egyptian Sphinx from the sands of Guadalupe, California. And restoration experts work from dawn till dusk, exercising extreme care not to step on any of the federally protected rare plants that grow there. Because of those plants and the western snowy plover, a small, ecologically threatened bird living there, the dunes have been protected since the 1970s. The one reason it took so long for the excavation to occur. It is also an important area for the local indigenous groups. Rather than the North African limestone that gives the Great Sphinx of Giza its form, the Cali Sphinx is constructed of plaster. 300-pound Sphinx heads. Just what a 300-pound Sphinx head doing on the western coast of the United States, you might ask? Like everyone else, the relic in question hails not from the deserts of ancient Egypt, but from the set of the 10 Commandments. DeMille, a legendary figure of Hollywood's golden age, set out in the 1920s to make an epic retelling of the biblical account of Moses. To replicate Egypt's sandy setting, a portion of silent black and white film was shot in the Guadalupe Nipomo dunes. DeMille commissioned a gigantic set that stretched 12 stories high and 800 feet wide, according to a press release from the Guadalupe Nipomo Dune Center, which led the excavation. This massive structure, one of the largest movie sets ever erected at that time, had a giant gate, pharaoh statues, and 21 plaster of Paris Sphinx. The lead archaeologist on the project, Colin Hamilton, said, "Anything that we can recover from this site, now it is the time to do it." Doug Jensen, executive director of the Dune Center, a conservation organization that manages the beautiful Guadalupe Nipomo Dunes area that had a 20-year ambition of relocating the Sphinx. The 4-square-mile expanse of red-tinted sands inspires images of either ancient Egypt or Arrakis, the desert planet from Frank Herbert's Dune, depending on the light. Jensen battled for 5 years to obtain excavation license and money. The 37-year-old scampered around to open a hole in frenetic delight as the project neared completion. He said it was exciting and terrifying as one of the archaeologists carefully brushed sand away from the Sphinx's serrated headdress. It is debatable whether an object less than a century old qualifies as noteworthy, but this is Hollywood, the birthplace of artifact fiction in the first place of the 20th century. DeMille was a towering figure in the industry, though the director Sphinx may not have the same weight as a mystery vacuum inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. For Californians, this counts as profound history. The set's construction required the labor of 1,300 people, 3,000 animals, and 50,000 feet of lumber. Not to forget 25,000 pounds of nails and 250 tons of plaster. Only a pharaoh would dare to attempt something like this. It appears it was meant to be temporary. Jensen said, "It is a significant find, there is nothing else like it anywhere in the world." However, after filming was complete, DeMille ordered his invention to be buried within the dunes for unknown reasons. One of the lingering mysteries here is why DeMille chose to bury the set at all. According to Jensen, there were 2 theories. The first one is that DeMille had gone so far over budget that he couldn't afford to dismantle the set and load it onto train cars to be able to haul it back to Los Angeles. The other reason, that DeMille, a control freak who possessed over the smallest minutiae, didn't want another filmmaker sneaking in and using the set for their own. Presumably worse production, a common cost-cutting device employed by Hollywood studios. In a period where CGI allowed for the production of entire universes on silicon, repurposing set or even outright stealing them was frequent. Because so few people realized it had been buried, the set was deemed lost in Hollywood circles. Of course, locals were aware of its existence, and it was rediscovered by Hollywood in 1983, when filmmaker Peter Brosnan was reading DeMille's autobiography and came across the following line: "If archaeologists delve beneath the dunes of Guadalupe 1,000 years from now, I hope they don't rush to press with the astonishing revelation that Egyptian civilization extended all the way to the Pacific coast." Brosnan went out to discover the location of the hidden set. He spoke with residents in and around the Guadalupe, a little town in Santa Barbara County west of the wine county center of Santa Maria. He eventually located a local who escorted up him to the dunes, showing him a little galaxy of placer fragments, rusted nails, and other rubbish strewn about. Brosnan went out to excavate the site, but was thrown out by the county of Santa Barbara, which holds control over the place, and nearly strangled his efforts in red tape, an ordeal he documented in the recent documentary film The Lost City of DeMille. When Brosnan finally received permission and funds to excavate in 2012, the team discovered a portion of a Sphinx and tried to salvage the remainder. Feeling that this would be the perfect conclusion for their film, unfortunately, the Sphinx they discovered was in bad condition and came apart when they attempted to remove it. Despite this, the removal provides a dramatic ending to the picture. The reconstructed Sphinx is presently on display at the Dune Center, but it's far from finished. Jansen speculated there might be another, more complete Sphinx out there. Last year, the team unearthed the second Sphinx only a few yards from the first. Many archaeologists who are now excavating the second Sphinx were part of the original crew to avoid what happened with the first Sphinx. They are currently using a unique yellow spray from that adheres the inner walls of the second Sphinx, providing stability. The excitement among the crew grows as more sand is dragged away, showing the opposite side of the skull and gigantic pow. Jansen believes preserving the elements of 20th century history in Guadalupe Nipomo dunes is critical, because they are unique and help draw people to the area to learn more about cinema history in the region. He stated that it was early years that developed the film business that we enjoy today. This was the first time people worldwide could go to a movie theater and share the same experience. The team carefully lashes the Sphinx's gigantic head onto a handmade sled made of wood and used surfboards on the 10th of the last day of excavating. 6 persons are required to raise their heads out of the pit. Its underside, buried nearly 10 feet below the surface for a decade, is still painted in ochre paint and glows orange in the afternoon light. After restoration, the new Sphinx will be shown at the Dune Center in a few months. Movie sets from the golden age of Hollywood does not exist anymore. This is a chance to conserve a piece of the American history before it is destroyed. The set has deteriorated over time, and the Dune Center is attempting to raise extra funding for additional excavation work. Once restored, the Sphinx head will be placed at Guadalupe's Dune Center Museum. Though DeMille buried all traces of his 1923 hit, the story of Exodus remained with him. In 1956, the filmmaker planned to redo the Ten Commandments as a 4-hour Technicolor epic, this time with a larger budget and a grander set. Whatever the circumstances, the Ten Commandments were buried beneath the sand for nearly a century. So, there you go everyone. We sincerely hope you enjoyed this content and are interested in hearing your opinions. What do you think about this mysterious object? Let's hear from you guys. Tell us in the comment section below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Thanks.